you.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to the lineup you've got here today.
Yeah, this is turning out to be a pretty good show, and we've got a really humdinger here. John Mason, he's fixing to play for us. He's got the he's been I don't know how long he's been a member, but for a while, but he's known all over town for his beautiful voice and his finger picking and his singing. He writes the prettiest melodies I've ever heard, and I don't know why this guy's not a hit yet, but maybe he will be if we let him play enough for us. So, John, you about ready to go?
I'm ready.
Okay, well, crank her up.
All right, let's just do it. All I know, everything's alright. If you take it slow, you will see that I'm right. Your friends are all here, they're standing by your side. The world still goes round, day turns into night like a falling rain on an old freight train. You keep on going, love's a seed you're sowing. But if you're feeling down, I could come around and I'll taste your sorrow into tomorrow. Well, there in the light where I cannot hide, my love will follow you anywhere, and that's all I know. All I know, we get lost sometimes as we travel along, looking for some grand design. You were searching on that road for maybe something in his eyes, and your little world broke down, much to your surprise in the falling rain. Oh, you felt that pain, no words were spoken, hell, your heart was broken. But if you're feeling down, I can come around and I'll chase your sorrow into tomorrow. We're there in the light where it cannot hide. My love will follow you anywhere, and that's all I know. There may be days when you think of giving up, when you think you won't find love, well, you're thinking way too much. Just remember where you are, 'cause love is never very far from your little broken heart, from your little broken heart. Like a falling rain on an old freight train, I keep on going, love's the seed I'm sowing. But if you're feeling down, I could come around and I'll chase your sorrow into tomorrow. There in the light where it cannot hide, my love will follow you anywhere, and that's all I know. And that's all I know. And that's all I know. Oh, that's all I know. All right, thank you very much. So it's good to be able to play for the DSA again. I don't get to do that very often.
You're sounding good. You're sounding great, John.
Thank you.
You bet.
Usually I'm on the run on a Saturday because I got a grandson and he's got a girlfriend and I'm a taxi, so I'm running all the time. Anyway, I am still writing though, and this is actually wrote this for a guitar that has Nashville strings on it, but I don't want to pull out 3 guitars today, so we'll just do it regular. Although it sounds a whole lot better with the Nashville strings, I guess, on the guitar. It's called Making Up Your Mind. First of all, let's get it. It's the trouble with new songs. You forget how you do them. There we go. Say you're looking for the right one. All your life's been waiting on a sign. Me, I'm looking for the only love that I want. You're still making up your mind. We were young, we spent all our time together. I always thought I was yours and you were mine. Now we're older and the time's come to choose me. Are you still making up your mind? All these years you knew how much I loved you. I couldn't wait for you to love me back. Now I see that we're just friends for forever. Guess I'll have to realize that we've got that. Lately you've been looking at me funny. You seem uncomfortable when your eyes meet mine. Today you asked me, do you love me, honey? You said, know that you've been waiting all this time. Always looking for a sign. Let's leave this mystery behind. I'm done making up my mind.
I think you got another hit there.
Well, I got to learn it first.
Yeah, that's a beautiful song.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
your voice could come down just a shade when you lean into the mic there on those soft ones like that when you're picking, but the balance is almost perfect.
okay. Cut that down just a bit. So this is one of the songs I do actually have on my Reverb Nation page. So I presume I should do it. If anybody goes to Reverb Nation, then they will get to hear me play it. More than just me and a guitar. This is called California. See that empty lot? That's where I come from. That's where I learned to walk. That's where I learned to talk. Now it's all gone. covered up in dust. It looks like powdered rust. There's nothing left for us. So I think I'll go to California. They say there's hope for you, where the sun always shines. And I live my life in California. Maybe there I'll find love. Sing California, here I come. See that golden gate? That's where I'm gonna be. It shines above the sea, and now it calls to me. Those redwood trees, sequoias way up high, they almost touch the sky. I swear they'll never die. So I think I'll go to California. They say there's hope for you, where the sun always shines. And I live my life in California. Maybe there I'll find love. Sing California, here I come. Moonlight or an ocean night, all the stars are right for moving on. Now it's time, the next page of my life. I'll take one last look before I go to California. They say there's hope for you, where the sun always shines. I'll live my life in California. Maybe there I'll find love. Sing California, here I come. Maybe there I'll find love. Sing California, here I come.
That song's got to be a hit. That is so pretty.
It was a song contest winner.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful song, John. Keep
Okay. Ugh. So. Didn't quite get that when I came up from that open D. This is a song I wrote back in like 1982, and I wrote like 2 lines of it. I sang it with a couple of bands that I was with, with only 2 lines and a chorus. And then a friend of mine from California asked if they could play it, and I told him sure. And I said, if it's only 2 lines and a chorus, I said, well, you need to write some more. So I sat down and wrote the rest of the song, and got a bridge and everything. It's like a regular song. So this is called Take Your Love and Walk Away. I guess you really told her, 'cause she just turned away and walked away when you said that it was over, and you never really felt that way. Everybody tells you, but you don't have to hear the words they say, and everybody wants you. You can take your love and walk away. Every time you see her, you think about the things that might have been. Does it make it any easier? It doesn't matter now, you've reached the end. Everybody tells you, but you don't have to hear the words they say. Everybody wants you, but you can take your love and walk away. 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 Many nights wasted, you know you could have changed it. You made it, now you own it, got nothing to show for it. Time passes over, those things you could have told her stand on your shoulders. Each time you have to face her, I guess it's really over. When she sees you, she just turns and fades away. Does it seem a little colder every time she takes her love and walks away? Take your love and walk away. 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 Thank you.
You're doing good. Just keep on going.
All right, so probably got time for like one more.
I think you got time for two more.
Really?
Hello. Can y'all hear me in there?
Yes.
Yes, we
Alan,
can.
how are you?
We can.
I
We
was
can
waiting
hear
for an
you.
open spot to come in there. Nice songs, man. Been listening to them.
Thank you.
You just got complimented by Alan Rhodey there.
That's a
Well, Let me
compliment.
interrupt. I'm just
That's a,
going
that's a real compliment
to
right
sit here
there.
till it's my turn.
Okay. Okay. Okay, keep on going, John. I think you got time for two
Barbara.
more according to my watch.
Hey, Alan.
All right, checking the level here, cause
You got 9 minutes, basically.
okay, we try to get through them. This is called Casting Shadows. Got my ticket for an eastbound plane, leaving out of LA in the rain. Said we'd be together with the snow, leave this town forever, I don't know. But if I don't see you there, I'll know that you've moved on. You'll be found somewhere out there casting shadows in the air. Lady stops to fix her golden chain, children running, trying to catch the rain. Baby, hold their babies to the glass. I tell myself those things will never last. Oh, when they don't see me there, I'm just a second look, they're unaware. I'm out here casting shadows in the air. The plane's on time, I've got to know. Will a heart decide where it wants to go? But if you find what you're looking for, you don't look for love outside your door. I turn around when it's too late to stay, just before it's too late to walk away. Gave my ticket to some Wall Street bum and watched the plane take off into the sun. Yeah, I'll watch it disappear, a shimmering silver touch of sheer, out there casting shadows in the air. And if you don't see me there, you know that I've moved on. I'll be found somewhere out there casting shadows in the air. I'm out here casting shadows in the air. Out here casting shadows in the air.
Boy, time flies when we're having fun, doesn't it?
Yep.
One more song, John. That'd be
Okay.
perfect. Yeah.
Song about my favorite thing. Well, I wanna know why I call my coffee Joe. I need to see why that means that much to me. Oh Lord, it's just like love. It was never what I thought it was. And in all of this time, I was looking for a clue. What went wrong with me and you? Was it the things I never said, or the things I'll never know? Like why I call my coffee Joe. Oh no, no, no. Well, I wanna know why I call my coffee Joe. I need to find love that's easy on my mind. 'Cause sometimes I just can't hear through all the noises in my ears, all the words that we say, and then we turn and walk away. They burn our hearts with what they know. They disappear like melting snow. I stand and watch the mystery grow. What do I call my coffee Joe? Oh no, no, no. What I lost while I was blind is still vivid in my mind. Images of how it used to be, but the story ends somewhere neath the rubble of a pair of two hearts that could never quite agree. And I wanna know why I call my coffee Joe. I need to see if that means that much to me. Oh Lord, it's just like love. It's never what I thought it was. And in all of this time, I was looking for a clue. What went wrong with me and you? It's the things I'll never said, or the things I'll never know. Like why I call my coffee Joe. Oh no, no, no. What do I call my coffee Joe? Oh Lord, I wanna know. I wanna know. Oh, I wanna know. Hold my pick. Thank you.
That was excellent. Thank you very much, John. We really appreciate it. I know everyone else did too.
Thank you very much.
So, folks, that was John Mason, and moving right along, this next act we've got, this gal, and it's Jessica and Tim Avey. You might recognize her as Bonnie Parker. She was one of the Bonnie Parkers in the documentary on Bonnie and Clyde, is on cable TV several years ago, I guess. I don't know when it was, but she's an actress, and she sings and she writes, and she's married to one of the best guitar pickers in Dallas, and they're gonna play for you today. Jessica and Tim Avey. Y'all got your original sound on now?
I do.
Okay. Well, there's Jessica and there's Tim. It's all yours for 30 minutes now.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having us. John, that was awesome. We loved your songs. We were singing harmony and picking along over here. Yeah. But yeah, we live here in Carrollton, and I did do the Bonnie and Clyde documentary for the BBC in 2008, and that still airs a lot on National Geographic. Sometimes we'll turn it on and just find it there. It's kind of funny. But anyway, that was a fun experience. So we got to travel all over Texas and up into Joplin and to all their different hideouts. So anyway, well, we're going to play a couple songs for you. This first one's called Sippin' on Tequila. And I wrote this one with a friend of mine, Ginger's to Know You. And so here we go. Skipping rocks at favorite swimming hole. Night is warm and the sun hangs low. I slide closer to you, let my long hair down. You whisper in my ear, it's my favorite sound. About 2 glasses, you got it. watching the sunset, holding your head, pour another round. I can drink to that, the tequila strong, but your love is sweet. You pull me closer to you, kiss in my cheek. Got 2 glasses, you got a bottle to pour. Sipping on tequila, looking at the horizon. Boy, I can feel it, my temperature's rising. Sipping on tequila, and I can hear you sighing. Let's stay here tonight, our hearts harmonizing. Boy, there ain't no denying, this love ain't lying. Let's stay here and hide it, 'cause our love is strong. Sipping right along, sipping on tequila, looking at the horizon. Boy, I can feel it, my temperature's rising. Sipping on tequila, and I can hear you sighing. Let's stay here tonight, our hearts harmonizing. Boy, there ain't no denying, this love ain't lying. Let's stay here and hide it, 'cause our love is strong. Sipping right along, sipping right along, sipping right along.
Great song. I love it. And your sound's good too. It's balanced and everything.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, this next song is called Wild and Free. And what I just love about songwriting is that you can have the opportunity to collaborate with so many different people, and it just brings you into community and friendships. And so this song I wrote with a good friend of mine named Jesse Walker, and this song is called Wild and Free. I've been holding back for way too long, feeling like I don't belong. All these things I've hidden away inside,
bring the guitar down just a hair, maybe a half a hair.
Okay. I'll turn this way.
There you go. That'd probably do it. Y'all sounding great.
Thank you. Yeah, Timmy plays
I
a
couldn't
little
remember how
hard
that song was
sometimes.
supposed to end.
Well, this next song that we're going to sing for you is called Climbing, and it's one that Tim and I wrote together years ago. And it's about just facing fears in your life and climbing out of different obstacles. I mean, you could put any circumstance on this, really. Not on my own to face an old friend who wants me alone. So I'm climbing to the top of this mountain, this mountain. The sun is shining in the heavens, and fear is no longer my friend. She's held me too long. She's held me in chains. She will let me go. I will reclaim. 'Cause I'm climbing to the top of this mountain, this mountain. The sun is shining in the heavens, and fear is no longer my friend. The road has been long, the climb has been steep. She likes to isolate and keep me in the trees. But I'm not going back, 'cause I'm not the same. No longer a part of the game. So I'm climbing to the top of this mountain, this mountain. The sun is shining in the heavens, and fear is no longer. I'm climbing to the top of this mountain, this mountain. The sun is shining in the heavens, and fear is no longer my friend.
Perfect.
Thank you. Well, we've got another song called Big Dreams, and it's one that I wrote too, that we wrote with a friend of ours, Ginger. She was our neighbor, and so we spent a lot of time together, and she's moved to California, but we still write together through, we just love technology, Google Drive. We share all kinds of documents and collaborate that way, so I'm glad distance, doesn't hinder hinder friendships or writing abilities. So anyway, big dreams. Jesse comes from a small town in the hills of Tennessee. One gas station, one stoplight, population 253. Daddy lost his life, keeping our country free. But Mama works hard, make a minimum wage, there are miles to keep. Life's rough and she grew up tough. Sometimes she's lost and a little bit stuck, but she's got big dreams and an old Chevy truck. Big dreams, with a little bit of luck, she knows she'll make it someday. Ceilings and walls, she'll shout at them all. It's a hard climb, but it's Jessie's time, and she's got big dreams. Jessie's strong, she's smart. She plays before she sleeps. The mama hugs her tight, tells her to follow her dreams. Jessie's grown, studies for her law degree. She wants to fight for the rights and against the wrongs. The night is Lincoln as she pushes along, and she's got big dreams and an old Chevy truck. Big dreams, with a little bit of luck, she knows she'll make it someday. Ceilings and walls, she'll shout at them all. It's a hard climb, but it's Jessie's time, and she's got big dreams.
Y'all are rocking.
Thank you.
Yeah, just keep on going.
Alrighty. Well, we got another one for you. So that concludes the inspirational part of the program, I like to say. And now we're going to just sing about drinking. This one's called Drink You Away. Gave my diamond ring to the bartender. Told him I don't want it anymore. Your cheating heart has me broken, but I won't feel it later as I crash out that door. The shiny princess cut on my finger. Well, it's paying for the party tonight. The bartender winks and says it'll do the trick. Your ring is buying all the drinks. I'm gonna be alright. I can't drink you away, but I can drink you off my mind. And all your lies I'm gonna erase, one sip at a time. My new best friend, Johnny Walker Blue, promised us soon I'll be over you. about you between the sheets. Well, I'm staring at your feet. If I had my shotgun, you'd both be 6 foot deep. I can't drink you away, but I can drink you off my mind. And all your lies I'm gonna erase, one sip at a time. My new best friend, Johnny, was the blue. Promises soon I'll be over you. I can't drink you away, but I can drink you off my mind. Thank you. I don't even like Johnny Walker Blue. Anyway.
It sounds cool.
It sounds good, yeah. This next song is called Mama Don't Know, and like I said, I like to collaborate with people, and Ginger and I keep a song folder, and we just put ideas in there, and one day I had seen she'd put a couple of lyrics in for this song, and I was stuck on a plane. We were going to New York, and so I wrote this on the plane trip, and then when we got to New York, I shared the lyrics with him, and he put the music to it. And so anyway, it's called Mama Don't Know, and I have to preface this every time that I sing it to my mother. This is not a confession. Mama taught me to sit up straight, don't lie, don't drink, keep the mirror awake. Watch out for the boys, they'll rent the good girl's world. Say my prayers every night, talk to Jesus and pray for the light. Go to church on Sunday, 'cause it's the Lord's day. Ooh, but the things Mama don't know, like late last night by the light of the moon, I snuck out and kissed you. We were skinny dipping in the heat of the night. We never felt so alive. My heart was racing, you were holding me tight. Had to run like hell to beat the sunrise. Thank the Lord that I survived. All the things Mama don't know. Sunday morning in the first pew, such a good girl. Who knew last night I didn't get much rest? I must confess, here I am sitting up straight, hands are folded while I pray. Lord bless my heart and forgive my soul. Ooh, for the things Mama don't know, like late last night by the light of the moon, I snuck out and kissed you. We were skinny dipping in the heat of the night. We never felt so alive. My heart was racing, you were holding me tight. Had to run like hell to beat the sunrise. Thank the Lord that I survived. For the things Mama don't know. Fogging up the windows on back country roads. Here's a mess, I smell like cigarettes. Ooh, the things Mama don't know. Like late last night by the light of the moon, I
That's not a confession?
No.
That's good. That's good. Hey, you got time for one more song? Y'all got an encore
I really
for us?
love that song. I'm sorry I had to
Yeah.
just chime in there a minute.
Yeah, that's a great song. Yes, it is.
Fun one. Well, maybe a little bit's true. I don't know. I think everyone sneaks out a little bit, right?
Yeah. 3 chords and the truth. You know, that's what we're all about here.
Recording the truth. That's right.
Well, this song is called Mercy. We didn't write this one. It's from an artist by the name of Duffy, but it's just a super fun one to play and one that we like to do a lot. So here we go.
Job. Thank you very much. Okay, that was Jessica and Tim Avey. And that was perfect. Okay, folks, it's my distinct pleasure. I'm going to make a short introduction to this next fellow, but I'm going to let Barb say the last words for introduction because she knows him really well, better than I do. But
hey, Gary, sorry, can I ask you a question?
Yes, you can.
Can you tell if we're live on Facebook?
Yes, we are live on Facebook. We are.
Click it on my end, and I don't know if it went off or not.
We're live on Facebook.
Okay, very good. Thanks.
Yeah, it says we're live on Facebook. Yeah, we're still live. We're streaming over there, so sometimes people lose that connection, but it's going according to everything I see here. And
lately I have had trouble finding it, and now that I realize the best way to do it is to go to the Dallas Songwriters homepage and then click on the live button, and it'll take you there. Otherwise, you might have to scroll down the page a lot to find it. The way they've changed their timeline and all that stuff, so that's the best way to find it. But I think I sent it over to your page, Alan. you know, and I don't know if it went because for some reason we weren't connected. So I'm not sure, but.
Oh, that's fine. I haven't even been looking at Facebook.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just,
Well, we there's a bunch of people over there watching, and that's got some watch parties going and everything. So
Cool.
I don't know how many thousand people. I didn't get the exact count, but there's there's a bunch of them over. Folks, you know, all of us strive to be what this next guy is, Alan Rhodey. We want to be hit songwriters. Well, he's been doing it for 5 decades. You know, he's co-written and written hit songs. I know, just looking up everything he's done. He's had number 1 hit, "I'll Be True to You" with the Oak Ridge Boys, and he wrote had a song with what was it, "Trainwreck of Emotions," Lori Morgan, and then he had "Wild Eyed Dream" or something like that with Ricky Van Shelton. And he's from Louisville, Kentucky, and I got to know him by phone 2 or 3 years ago. He was a category judge in our national song contest, and then I met him for the first time eye to eye yesterday over on Zoom. And he's going to do an hour show for us, and we're going to have a little conversation with him too, probably. And I'm going to turn it over to Barb to make a few comments before he gets started. Well, Ricky, we really are excited to have you here.
thank
I mean,
you.
Alan.
I was excited to have you here, Alan, too. I mean, you've been a really good friend to DSA, and thank you for being our song contest judge. I think it was 2017 that you judged our country category. Oh, and by the way, our annual song contest is running now. You can enter songs until September 17th. I thought I would put in that little plug there for our song contest. But something that I didn't know about Alan was that he became a part of the Canadian folk scene in the early 70s before he moved to Nashville. But I think Nashville might have been a good move for you, Alan, because you ended up with over 100 songs recorded by a long list of major artists in the country, folk, and bluegrass areas. Songs that were recorded by Del McCoury and Lori Morgan and Murray McLaughlin and Kevin Welch, Howard Axton, Tanya Tucker, and then, of course, the big one, the Oak Ridge Boys, which that Oak Ridge Boys song, wow, did it buy you a house or what? Because 4 million in sales and eventually over a million airplays. It must be more than that now.
I don't really know, but a lot of that,
Right.
a lot of those days aren't around anymore, to be honest. I mean, it's such a small target these days that you have a chance to take aim at, really.
Yeah,
As far as
things
getting
have really
public
changed now,
support.
haven't they? But you were lucky to be there when it was happening.
No, it was great. And
Yeah.
I mean, it still is great, but yeah, I got here in 77, and I'm sure you all have heard people talk about it. And by the way, I want to say Texas's singer-songwriter scene is humongous, and I love all those Texas songwriters that come out of there. And a lot of them are up here, but I've been down through there several times, and it's always been a great trip. But yeah, I mean, up till about, I'd say, mid to late 90s, it was not an open door policy, but everybody, excuse me, everybody was just, what would you say? There was more of a camaraderie back then. And shortly after Garth Brooks made his splash, things started changing. That's sort of how I remember it anyway. And record labels started buying and selling from each other, and catalogs started being sold everywhere. And it's very, very hard these days. I mean, you have to be, they used to say, you know, somewhere close to the publisher or the artist or the writer or the manager, not the writer necessarily, but a lot of artists, as we all know, are also writers. And some are wannabe writers that co-write a lot of their songs anyway, but it's just much harder to get a song in front of somebody. You have to know somebody personally, I would say, not just having a phone conversation or have a meeting with them. It's kind of hard to do, but I mean, it does happen. I don't mean to sound so negative, but
Yeah. You've been out
it's
there.
like everything. You just have to keep punching away at it, you know.
Yeah. So you've been touring and you've had a number of albums of your own songs with you singing them through a number of years. So
Yeah,
I
just
asked,
released my 10th one.
yeah, a 10th. Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, that
Yeah.
was in 2017. That's
Yeah.
the last one I've released.
That was the one that's on Ashwood Records, the black and
Yeah, the
white.
last several are on my own label. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And so you're talking about the black and white album was your last one, or?
Well, funny you should mention that.
Good time for a little plug, right?
Well, I'm just going to show these for the heck of it. This is my latest one. It's called Farther On, and it's an abstract painting of mine. I don't need to go trying to explain it now, but the title is just from what I was feeling like my life and career are farther on these days. But and I did this all in my home studio here, which is the only one I've ever done in that way. And yeah, you mentioned, let's see, there is an album called Rhodian Black and White, and I don't want to go on about this stuff too long, but it's a retrospective that came out around 2014, I guess. And I recently had CDs made of my very first album, came out in 1981 on vinyl. And it was all produced, the tracks were all produced at my publisher at the time, Tree Publishing, later to become Sony ATV. And it's got some just great players on it. I will say on my albums that aren't just me, I've had some fantastic players and relationships here over the years. It's amazing the people you meet once you kind of settle in here and just start getting around, and you'll meet people. It just happens. So
when did you
anyway,
settle
I've been
in?
very
You
lucky.
settled in Nashville in '77, so you've been there a long time.
I have
Yeah,
almost 50 years, not quite there.
that's great.
Harry said 5 decades. I'm going on 5, but 4.5 decades or
I
whatever.
know. I was going. Wait, don't push it. Don't push it. Right.
Yeah, they go by faster too as you get older, let me tell you.
Yes, they do. Well, when Harry said you were going to play for us today, I asked him to give you an hour, so because 30 minutes
This
is
is
not
fine.
enough.
I mean, we can chat and play. It doesn't matter. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, we're ready to hear something
Yeah.
from you and
Alan,
tell us a little bit
I
about
really
each song.
enjoyed the music
Alan.
by these other writers so far today. I mean,
But
No.
before you get going, there's two things
Yeah.
I want to say. First off, we got Michael Brandenburger on here too. He's our president. I don't know if you met him or not, but he'll be
I
listening.
don't know if I've met Michael or
making
not. So I'm
comments.
come in and sit down.
That's
I'll
him
try and place it.
with the blue cap on there. If you can see him, and he'll make a presence here in a minute.
All right.
Also, I know we went over this yesterday, but just make sure you got your original sound on. It should say "Turn off original sound" up there in the left-hand corner of your screen.
Yeah,
I think it
it
says
must be off because it says turn on original sound.
no. It needs to be "turn off." It needs to say "turn off."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So if it says "turn on," you got to click on it. So it reads
Yeah, that should do it. I hope.
it reads "turn off." Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You got it.
You're getting an echo now.
Yeah, we got an echo.
Oh, you do?
Check. No, we're good.
Not now. We're good. Yeah.
We're good.
Hello.
We're good. Okay. Play us a song, Alan.
Michael, it's good to meet you
Good to meet
online. Do you remember meeting me? I don't know, maybe 2009, 2010, somewhere in there.
Did you come speak to us then?
I came and spoke at a meeting and played a few songs, and then I
Yeah.
did a workshop on another trip. It was at a
Yeah.
restaurant, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of good people came.
You were wearing a different hat then.
Yeah, I guess I was. I've got a lot of hats. Well, it is great to be here with you guys. I guess when you do this long, you just you never know what to play because you like to play some of your newest stuff, of course. And anyway, here's a song that I like to start with, I guess. I wrote this with a guy named John Hadley. He's from out in Oklahoma. He lives in Norman, Oklahoma, right just south of Oklahoma City. John's an exceptional creative person. He taught art at the University of Oklahoma, and he would just make occasional trips to Nashville and give him his latest songs. And he would co-write with quite a few people. He and I have written several songs, but he had I'm trying to think of the name of it now, but he's had cuts by Trisha Yearwood and I think the Dixie Chicks. He's had a lot of cuts. I think George Burns recorded one of his songs. It's called Old Bones. Anyway, this is called Trying to Find a Feeling. Rain on the highway, hard to see clear. Drive through the lonely, been a rough year. Heart full of errors, love and regret. Try to move on, but it's hard to forget. The friends are scattered, heroes have died. Last time I saw her, she broke down and cried. I held her hand and said, baby, I know, trying to find a feeling felt long ago. Well, up into the valley, to the mountains and back, followed the sun till it faded to black. Reached to the sky, shook the blanket of stars. They fell to the street, the lights of the cars, the hiss of the tires, the smell of the rain. How can so close and so far be the same? I stood and watched the rain turn to snow, trying to find a feeling felt long ago. Was it really that strong and that sweet? Or were we just young? Were we just trying to be what we thought we'd become? Or was it just like the time and the place we came from? Now the sun's on the rise, it's a brand new day. Sitting at a crossing, a slow-moving train. Boxcars of memories, they groan and they grind. They rumble and ride, they roll down the line. Everything's quiet on the road up ahead. Warm and as smooth as the sheets on her bed. The sky up above, the same blue as her eyes. Last time I saw her, I broke down and cried. She held my hand and said, baby, I know, trying to find a feeling felt long ago. Yeah, trying to find a feeling felt long ago.
I like it.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Great story.
Thank you. The title of one of my albums came from a line in that song. It's called Boxcars of Memories. That was 2008, I believe that one came out. Yeah, you mentioned Del McCoury. You know, I've recently had a Del McCoury cut cut it last year, and it's called That Old Train. It's funny, he's cut two of my songs, and they're both train songs. And are y'all familiar with Michael Cleveland? Just a world-renowned fiddle player. He's a legend in bluegrass. I mean, he's won Instrumentals of the Year many, many times, and he has a band called Flame Keeper, Michael Cleveland and Flame Keeper, and they did a couple of my tunes on an album of theirs called On Down the Line. And you know, Del McCoury, I mean, they do have bluegrass charts. And when Del did his version of Trainwreck of Emotion, it went to #1 on the bluegrass chart, which was great. I mean, they don't do singles exactly, but they play songs as if they were singles from albums. They'll promote a certain song. And we were nominated. I wrote that song with John Vesner, another really fine writer in person. He's married to Kathy Mattea. Don't know if y'all know about that, but John and another writer named Don Henry, who was the tape copy boy at Tree Publishing when I met him. And he's an extremely talented guy. But they have a duo now called the John Wands. Is that the Don Wands? Sorry, the Don Wands. And they're quite good. Great to hear. Well, let's see here. But enough about me. What do you think about me? I didn't really have a plan, but I'll tell you what I'll play. It's in the same key here. I was going to mention John Prine anyway. His loss was just, immense. I mean, it's more than you can really say, because I heard his first album in '71 and sang his songs through a lot of bars and concerts for at least 10 years. When I was still working my own material into my shows, wherever they might have been. And I got to know him here, and he's just one of the most sweet people, and obviously a giant in the songwriting world. And that was just the most horrible thing when the pandemic had only been going like a week or something. And yeah, it was rough. But anyway, my CD, I say it came out in such and such a year. Most of the time I'll make a CD and it'll come out like a year later or maybe longer. But this is somewhere around 2001. And John sang a duet with me on this, and it's been online for a long time now in different places. You can find almost every song I'm going to play here today somewhere on my website or Reverb Nation, or YouTube has a whole ton of stuff from different things. There's a lot of stuff that gets on YouTube, and I'm trying to find a way to control that. Not that I don't want any kind of version of a song that anybody wants to do. I'm all for that. But, I haven't figured out to do your personal page on YouTube yet, but I'm getting to it. So this is a tune that John sang with me, and it's a folk song, I guess. It's called That's Who I'd Be. Panhandler on the street, a hero in defeat, a robber on the run, a soldier with no gun, a forest with no rain, a pilot with no plane, a dreamer who never woke from his sleep. That's who I'd be. It were only me, here without your love, 'cause your love makes me complete. That's who I'd be if I were on my own. Never would have known how good this life would be. And a heart without a soul is a wheel that just won't roll, like the bread without the wine, or a clock that can't keep time, a sky without the blue, a lie without the truth, an orphan with no shoes upon his feet. Oh, that's who I'd be if they were only me. Here without your love, 'cause that makes me complete. That's who I'd be if I were on my own. I never would have known how good this life would be. Like a drunkard with no gin, in a tunnel with no end, like a star without the night, or a night without a king, in a castle that won't stand, on a mountain made of sand. There's an empty shell washing out to sea. That's who I'd be if they were only me. Here without your love, 'cause your love makes me complete. That's who I'd be if I were on my own. I never would have known how good this life would be. That's who I'd be if I were on my own. I never would have known how sweet this life would be.
Alan, did you co-write that with John Prine, or it's his song?
No, that's one I wrote by myself. I got the nerve to call John up to ask him about possibly singing with me on a song, and he was just really easy and great about it. I said, sure, I'll do that. I'd love to do it. He said, send me a song that you think would work, and I'll get back to you and let you know if I think it's worth a damn or not. He didn't say that.
That's a great song. Great song.
Yeah, and I sent him that song, and he came by the studio, and there we were.
What a story! Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Keep
it was
on.
fantastic. It's a high point. I mean, I've had a lot of high points along the way, but working with John was just fantastic. And I opened for John Hartford a few times early on, and as you all know, probably, he had, I don't even know the technical name for it, but it was a long form of cancer. Is melanoma, is that?
That's.
It was of the
That's one of them,
immune
yeah.
system. It was kept him, feeling like he was sick or had a cold or something. Not all the time, but it would come in periods.
Oh, maybe that's lymphoma or something.
Lymphoma, thank you. That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I didn't have his phone number, and I hadn't seen John at that time in a lot of years. And I wrote him a letter. I had his address, and I sent him a letter, and he called me up and said, "Yeah, I'll come and play on your song. You got to pay me though." So I said, "Sure, I'll pay you, no problem." But he played fiddle on that same track that John Prine sang on, so that was really special for me. I was going to do. I'll do this song that Del McCurry did and had out recently. I mean, it's out now on the album. I'm trying to think of the album. But, whoops. And I think it's been said already, but Trainwreck of Emotion was the first song of mine that he did. And let's see, who did I write this song with? I wrote this song with Ronnie Scaife, and it was so odd, really. Ronnie and I had just met, and we got together one time and we wrote this song. And about 3 years later, he got cancer and passed away, and it was really weird. But he always mentioned this. Send it out to him and his family when I do this song. But I think this is the right key. We'll find out. If anybody wants to ask me anything, just keep it to yourself. But no, seriously, just go ahead and ask me anything between songs if you want to. All right, this is called That Old Train. Well, I just heard that city of New Orleans come rumbling past this old shack of mine, where the windows carry on and the timbers creak and groan. That old gal is well on down the line. Some people say it don't get cold in Memphis, but I've seen that old river freeze up tight. Yeah, she used to melt it down. Yeah, she caught that southern bound. Crossed that bridge and left me cold as ice. That old train, all the way on my good times, but the pain, it's here to stay. That old train, it's a flame for the bad times I'm feeling today. Well, if I could, I'd buy myself a ticket, check out every whistle stop that came along, cover every mile of track, and I'd bring my baby back. Be happy ending to this song. That old train, on the way on my good times, but the thing, it's here to stay. That old train, flame for the bad time I'm living today. Well, if I could, I'd buy myself a ticket, check out every whistle stop that came along, cover every mile of track, and I'd bring my baby back. Be happy ending to this song. I can serve that old train. I can serve that old train.
I got a little question for you. I'm just curious. Is that a Lee Oscar harmonica?
I'm sorry?
Your harmonica, what kind do you play?
Well, I play Hohner as well as Lee Oscar.
Either one, okay. Sounds great. Sounds great. Your guitar sounds
I like
good.
both of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lee Oscar really came along and changed the harmonica world, because Hohner was the only game in town up till then.
Yeah.
And
Do
his
you?
harmonicas are naturally louder, and they seem a little smoother to play on.
The Lee Oscar?
Hmm.
Yeah. Do you buy the reed plates and replace them, or you just?
I haven't yet, but so far these ones have been holding up, hopefully. But
Sounds great.
yeah,
It's
I
just-
mean, it got to where you're paying $50 and $60 for a harmonica. It's like,
yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
it's crazy.
I love it. I got a little twitch of Woody Guthrie there and something he was doing there on that one. It sounded
Oh.
kind of. It sounded great. Anyway,
Probably
keep
the,
going. Yeah.
not so delicate guitar playing.
Well, no, I was talking about the harmonica.
Okay.
Reminded me of something I heard on him do. Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've heard Woody. I haven't heard him that much, especially when he played harmonica.
He's pretty good.
Does anybody remember the Oak Ridge Boy song I had? I mean, other than Barbara and Harry.
What's the name of it?
It's called "I'll Be True to You."
Oh,
See what I mean? Well, it was their first #1, which came to be a great thing. And Barbara was talking about it a while ago. And you know, that song's still out there getting played and selling downloads and streams, I guess, and physical product, as far as I know, but not in big numbers. But it's been incredible. I have a few songs that weren't even that big as far as charts and all that go, but I had a B-side one time that it still makes money, but you know, $3 or $4 every quarter. But you know what? That stuff is fine. You know, it's Red Lane. I don't know if y'all know who Red Lane was. He's in the Hall of Fame. He was one of the first guys I met at Tree Publishing, and he said, "Well, you know, it's not all the hits you've had necessarily. It's all the cuts you get through your career. So they add up." But you know, I was so fortunate. It was happenstance. I was playing in Louisville, and somehow a tape of mine was taken to president of Tree Publishing at the time. And like I said back then, they were more easy about listening to new people and you know, not just walk in the door, but you could actually call up, and if you had a reference or something, they would easily make an appointment with you. But he heard the tape, and looking back on it, I think he just heard potential, if you will. But I had a meeting with him, and about almost, well, I don't know, 9 or 10 months later, I didn't sign there right away, even though he was ready to sign me, and they did work with me too as an artist. We produced a lot of sides there, trying to get me a record deal and all that stuff. And it was great, except it never happened, but it came really close. But Tree at the time was the #1 publisher of country music in the world, and then shortly after that, you know, as far as the awards go, they were always competing with MCA back then. And now it's like 4 corporations own all the publishing companies, basically, except for independents. But what I was going to say is my first co-write, and I had never co-written before I moved to Nashville. I hadn't even thought about it. And they encouraged me to do that. And I wasn't really in favor of it because I wasn't that familiar with the business itself. But anybody know who Bobby Braddock is? He was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame a few years ago. He's been in the Songwriters Hall of Fame for a long, long time. But Bobby is just, he's one of the greatest songwriters, country songwriters anywhere. He came here when he was, I guess, 20 maybe, 21. And he just turned 80. And he has had a #1 record every decade he's been here. But I mean, you talk about cuts. I couldn't even name all the songs, you know. The big ones are Divorce. He Stopped Loving Her Today. He wrote with Curly Putman. His standard is The Green, Green Grass of Home.
Oh my God, those
It's
are
one of the
such
first
big
songs he
country
ever wrote.
classics.
And he was a shoe salesman. And I think with
Wow.
Roger Miller, I might have said the other way around. Maybe he heard Roger Miller and got him to come to Nashville. But yeah,
Wow,
Curly was just
What big
yeah.
country classics those songs are. Wow.
Oh, I know. You ought to look him up. You ought to look him up because he and Bobby Braddock were actually the first two full-time writers at Tree, if I'm not mistaken, other than maybe Bill Anderson and Buddy Killen, the owner himself.
Yeah.
You know, Bill's been working with Buddy in some form or other for a long, long time. But anyway, I landed in the middle of the biggest possible place I could have landed as a songwriter. And I learned a whole lot there, needless to say. But I've always felt very lucky that I was there, and I was there for 10 years. And they didn't let me go. They did not renew my contract. It was my decision, and it's one of the things I've done in my career that I should have thought longer about. But that's okay. Things worked out. You know, I've been with 2 or 3 other publishers and had a lot more records and stuff too. But it was all started at Tree, and I've always been very grateful to them and all those people there.
Alan,
All the big publishing careers have started at Tree.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Alan, do you still write? Are you still
Oh, yeah.
writing?
Yeah, I'll do my latest song here before we end.
I mean, how often do you write? Do you every day, every week?
I don't write near as often as I used to, but I have about 10 or 12 unfinished songs that I have true intentions of finishing. They're not just things that I said, oh, well, that's not that good. But they're things that I want to go back and get time and just put the time in on them. And you may have heard the story, you know, John Prine, before this album of his, Tree of Forgiveness, came out, his wife Fiona and their 3 sons, 2 of them, let's see, anyway, 2 of them, John and Fiona, had Jack and Tommy. And Jody is Fiona's son that I guess came into their marriage. But anyway, his 3 sons and his wife said, hey, you know what? You need to put out a record. You haven't put out a record in 5 or 6 years or whatever it was. Might have been longer than that. And they, I don't know, they didn't make him do it, but he checked into a hotel here in Nashville with every stack of everything, every unfinished song he ever had. She took boxes of them down there. Said, here you go. Now, when you come out of here, we want an album. And I'm not kidding you. He stayed in the hotel and wrote that whole album. It's just amazing. But anyway, always liked that story. All right,
Great story.
I'm sorry?
Great story.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to do you one more sad ballad here, and I'll play something a little more up. Well, this is one of the Oak Ridge Boys that nobody remembers, but as I said, it's still out there getting played every once in a while on classic country stations. Thank goodness for those. By the way, I normally finger pick this song and I'm missing a fingernail. I don't know. I might try to fake it here. They met upon a blue moon. They parted on a cloudy day. They were so in love and out of school. And he was going so far away. And she said, I'll be true to you. Even though you don't want me to, I'll be blue for you. Even though you've asked me not to. Well, the years drifted by them, as we all know they can. He found other women, she was found by other men. But his fate would have it, they met again. She was on a downhill slide, and he was just sliding in. As he looked into her eyes that night, he never realized the only real love in his life was passing by. When he turned and left her, his only words, goodbye. He heard her calling out to him, and as he walked, she cried. I've been true to you. Seems like speaking to me is the least that you can do. And I've been blue, so blue for you. Even though you've asked me not to. She's been drinking way too hard one night. She'd been drinking for so long, alone and pale in a cheap hotel. She died there in the dawn, kneeling by her side, so late and oh so wrong. He longed to hold her close again, crying on and on. He cried, I'll be true to you. After all that I have put you through, and I'll be blue for you. Though you never even asked me to. Thank you.
That's a great song, Alan.
Very sweet.
Oh, man.
Wow.
It's actually a very weird song in a lot of ways. I mean, some ways, I should say. The chord progression is almost the same in the verses as it is in the chorus, except for the little flat 7 to the 4 thing. But and it's very repetitive musically, but it's a story song and it works. So
that's a great story. How did the Oak Ridge Boys get that song from you?
Actually, the guy that was technically vice president of creative department at Tree Publishing at the time, named Don Gant, who was an incredible song man, as some people say, song person, and he was in a group. Nobody will remember this, but he was in a group called the Neon Philharmonic. They had a 60s pop hit, a song called Morning Girl. It sounded very British at the time. But anyway, Don ran MCA Records at one time. Then he worked at Acuff Rose, I guess one of the largest publishers in the world. Hank Williams and Roy Orbison and on and on and on. Anyway, Don ended up he was vice president of of the creative, as they say, department at Tree when I landed there. And he pitched the song. He had an inside track. You know, I mean, that's what it's all about with major artists and publishers and writers. I hate to say that, but I mean, it's only natural, you know. But I will say, through the years at Tree that I was there, which was 76 to 86 technically, there was much more creative energy going on within offices. Like every day at the end of the workday, at least 5 or 6 of us would sit around the foyer as you come off the elevator, and there's a, you know, circular or semicircle couch or whatever there, and we kind of gather there at the end of every business day, at least 5 to 15 of us, depending, and we play our newest songs for each other, and Don was always there. He would always be there. He was just one of the best, I like to say, song people that I've ever met, as far as picking out great songs, not only hit songs, but great songs. But anyway, what was the question? I feel like one of those really old guys.
It's such a great song and such a great storyline. I'm just curious how, and I've heard it for so many
I got
years.
to the Oak Ridge Boys.
Yeah, how did they actually pick that song from you?
Well, Don was also the most active song plugger there, besides being vice president of the creative department. And he took the song to the head of MCA Records. They were actually called United Artists at that time still. It became MCA during the Oak Ridge Boys, between their second and third album or something. But, the head of the label heard it and pitched it to the Oak Ridge Boys producer named Ron Chansey. And I didn't know anything about this till later on. I didn't know how things worked back then. You know, people, I didn't know a lot of things. You know, I was there 10 years and it was my education in the music business, which I'm very thankful for. But, yeah.
Everybody has dreamed of something like that happening, you know, and it
It
happened
was
to
like,
you.
it was,
Yeah.
I mean, it couldn't
Yeah.
have happened
Yeah.
easier. I was so lucky, you know, because
Yeah.
I had been playing for about 6.5, 7 years prior to when this tape of mine got into the hands of the president of Tree Publishing, which became Sony ATV, which is horrible later on. But Tree was an independent publisher, and they were the largest publisher of country music in the world at the time. I signed there in 76 and left in 86, way back there. But,
How many writers did they have when you were there?
well, that's funny you should ask, see, because publishing was so different back then. Jack Stapp established the company, and he hired Buddy Killen, a guy named Buddy Killen, who was the bass player on the Opry, to be a song plugger. And Buddy would pitch songs to artists, and he would also go down to Tootsie's Lounge and just hang out in there and meet writers and artists that would come in there. But anyway, Don, when he heard that song, by the way, and the original version, if I get going down a garden path, just stop me. But the original version of my song, I'll Be True to You, was about, I don't know, 6 minutes and 40 seconds, something like that.
Oh my, way too long.
Not really.
But it was repetitive though, and that's what's so great about it. You know?
Well, it was a trilogy when I wrote it.
Oh.
And that is on my last CD that I made, that I did all totally here at home on my 8-track, just me playing everything, which isn't a whole lot, 2 or 3 instruments and some noises, you know. But I thought, you know, the world needs to hear the original version of this song after all these years.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was like 6.5 minutes long, and it was like a trilogy. It changed tempo in the middle. And, you know, and of course, the theory in the music business, and especially here in Nashville, is the simpler the better, and not more than 3.5, 4 minutes at the very most. And the Oak Ridge Boys record was 4:20. And that was after I totally rewrote the song, in essence, because they asked me, the song plugger that I was working with when I first got to Tree, he said, you know, we love this story, we love this song. He said, there's no way we can even pitch it like this because it's, you know, 4.5 minutes long or whatever it was. And it was, you know, a trilogy, like I said, it had a different section in the middle of it. And so I was really offended at first. And I decided, well, okay, I'll try to, you know, rework it somehow. And I stayed in town for like 2 or 3 days and actually stayed at Song Plugger's house, who first heard it, because I didn't have anywhere to live here at that time. I had some friends here that actually moved down from Toronto as well, and that was total a freak coincidence. But I did a little bit of it over at their house, but I did most of it out at Cliff Williamson's house. He was a song plugger at Tree Publishing. And, you know, in the midst of trying to rewrite this thing, a couple of things happened that made it a better song, especially in my opinion, but it was too long for the commercial market at the time. When they first told me that, I was like, well, did you never hear of Harry Chapin and Bob Dylan? And all those other 6-minute songwriters from the 60s? But I agreed to rewrite it, to do a rewrite on it. And they said, well, we will not touch your original version. We'll keep it in the catalog and just see what you can do. So anyway, it dawned on me in trying to rewrite this thing that it would be even more sad if the woman died in the end of it instead of the guy. I thought, man, this is great. Okay, so I'm trying to think of the other main thing, but it had a middle section, and it was just way too long, but it works. It still works to me. It still works. But so I stayed over at Cliff Williamson's for a couple of nights, actually. Song plugger there, that he was the first one to hear it, and he made this suggestion. He said, you know, we really love this song, but we can't do anything with it. We're going to have to condense it some way. So anyway, like I said, the roles, believe it or not, it was about a guy who died in the end. See, with story songs, you can just rework things any way you want.
Actually, it came out really good, didn't it? Made you a lot of money, and
with the
it's
woman
a great
dying,
song.
it made it even sadder, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, and I was okay with it after I'd completed the rewrite. And anyway.
You were okay with it after the checks too.
I'm sorry?
I said you were okay with it after all the checks you got for it.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy with the short version, but it wasn't the same song to me, you know, at first. And yeah, like you say, when I kept hearing that record on the radio, I thought, yeah, I'm glad I rewrote that. I'm glad I shortened that song up.
So Harry asked you how many writers were at Tree back in the 80s when you were there. I know Gary Nicholson was there. Wasn't Rick Bursford
Yeah, Gary
there
came
too?
after me. I signed there in '76, if you can believe that.
Oh, okay.
And around 1980, I guess, Jim Ed Norman, producer, he's produced so many people like Anne Murray and I can't even name them all, but he, I'm trying to think what I was saying there, but
Well, we were talking about how many writers were at Tree at the time
right.
in the 80s. I know
yeah, and
there was one time I visited Gary there at Tree,
Gary came from Jim Ed Norman's company.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And that facility there that you guys had with those studios that you could write in, and like you said, the place you could hang out at in the end of the day and stuff.
Yeah, it was kind of a different time on Music Row. That's what I was getting at, really.
Yeah.
Much easy going time, you know. Tree Publishing, when I signed with them, they later became Sony ATV Tree. Now they're just Sony ATV or whatever. But they were an independent company. And
But a big one, a big independent company.
well, they grew into one. Yeah, I mean, they started tiny. Jack Stapp and Buddy Killen. But anyway, there were, I guess there were maybe 30 to 40 contracted songwriters, as they might say, at that time when I signed.
That's a lot. That's a lot of writers.
Oh, that was nothing
Yeah.
to what it became later. It got ridiculous.
Yeah.
But they had and this is something that I really admired back then, and a lot of publishers would do this. If you had some kind of connection, not a big connection, but Tree Publishing had an open door policy. I mean, they would at least have the tape copy guy listen to somebody's songs, if nobody else. And they had about 5 song pluggers. And so anyway, they started signing new people. And what happened was they got to a certain place and they started buying other catalogs. And I think that's how a guy named Jim Ed Norman had a publishing company. He's a big producer later on. But that's where Gary Nicholson was writing. Trying to think of somebody else that was writing at the time. Anyway, Tree would absorb like 10 or 12 writers at a time from another company. And suddenly they needed more song pluggers to pitch the songs. And they ended up with like 8 song pluggers and close to 200 writers. And it became a whole different thing. That's one reason I started, thinking about going somewhere else or doing my own thing or something. But anyway, that's how you ask about Gary, right?
Yeah. So hey, so you got another couple of songs in you for us today?
Sure. Trying to think of something that you haven't heard here. I'm going to do one as my last song. Think of something that might be a little different. Maybe I'll do, I can remember it.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. We really enjoyed this.
No, thank you for having me.
And telling us those stories. That's a lot of fun to hear that.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Everybody says there's a book in all of us. There's at least one book in all of us. So I've been thinking about all that. But there are tons of books out there about the music business. And that's what I was going to talk about. The first, I was talking about co-writing. And I had never co-written, as I mentioned, when I came to Tree, and never even thought about it. And the first thing that a publishing company in Nashville wants you to do is to co-write with the other writers in the company. It produces songs faster, and 2 heads are better than 1 in their opinion. And you still write songs on your own, but I was very uncomfortable with the idea. And They said, well, there's this one writer, and he actually lives in your neighborhood. You could walk over to his house. His name's Bobby Braddock.
Oh, wow.
And and I think I'd said hi to Bobby at Tree once or twice. And I knew him for a lot of hit songs, already. And this was, 77, 78, somewhere in there. And so I, got hold of him and went over to his house. And he could tell I was kind of uneasy with the whole thing. I was like, well, what are we supposed to do here? He said, well, what usually happens is you have coffee and then you might go to lunch. And then in the conversation, some idea might pop up. Or one of you might come with about 3 or 4 ideas. And then you just pick one, wherever it happens to come from. He says, here's what I'll do, just at least for this first co-write. He said, I've got this piece of music. He plays keyboards. Bobby plays piano. That's all he plays. And he had this melody, and he had already put it down. Or he said, I'll put it down and make you a copy of it and just see how it hits you, see what you can come up with. So that was how I co-wrote my first song. And, obviously you get more comfortable with it. And I was, the other thing about, and I won't dwell on this any longer, but I was so lucky to land at somewhere like Tree Publishing that has now been Sony ATV for a long time. Buddy Killen, the owner of the company, he and Jack Stapp owned the company. Buddy was the song plugger and Jack was the owner. And they hired a couple of song pluggers. And Curly Putman, who wrote Green Green Grass a Home and co-wrote He Stopped Loving Her Today with Bobby Braddock. Curly was another permanent fixture there. Certain writers had their own office. Like when I got there were about 3 or 4 people that had their own office. And Curly was just the most easygoing person I've ever met in my life. And just the sweetest guy. So he was one of the early co-writers I had too. And, there's no formula, I've written songs in co-written songs in every different way you can think of. Had people give me melodies, people give me a lyric idea or whatever. There is no rules. That's what Don Gant said to a few of us there. Well, the first rule in songwriting and in the music business is there are no rules. I'm sure everybody's heard that, but anyway.
7, and you did a workshop for us in the Varsity Club in Plano.
Oh, wow, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Now, what year was it? 14, you said?
2007.
Oh, my God, 2007.
And then you judged the song contest that year, and then 10 years later, you judged it again in 2017.
Right, I just judged it via mail and all that stuff.
Yeah, right.
Second time.
Mm-hmm. Probably
Yeah.
Dropbox, yeah.
We all got a great organization, I'll say that. And, I've traveled to a lot of areas where they have either an NSAI chapter or a songwriter group of some kind. And seriously, y'all are one of the most together organizations that I've ever played for.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We really appreciate your involvement, and it was such a treat for us to hear you today.